All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome. I'd like to call the City of Homestead Committee of the Whole meeting to order. Today is November 12th, 2025, and it is now 5:36 p.m., despite the fact that the light outside says it's 9 o'clock still. All right, so let's have a roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Avila. Here. Councilman Cannibal. Here. Councilman Roth. Here. Councilwoman Konski. Vice Mayor Bailey. Here. Mayor Lawson.
Here. All right. Mr. Manager, are there any additions, deletions, or deferrals for tonight's agenda?
None, Mr. Mayor.
All right, we have before us as tab 1A, the item to approve our September 9th, 2025 Committee of the Whole minutes. And the October 7th, 2025 minutes. I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes of those two meetings. Moved by Councilman Roth. Seconded by Councilman Cannibal. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Mr. Manager, tab 2.
So, Mr. Mayor and Council, I have the honor to introduce the engineers and public information outreach folks from Florida Department of Transportation. They are currently working on the expansion and extension of Florida's Turnpike. The widening project is going to stretch from, I believe, Campbell Drive, which is Southwest 132nd, all the way to Tallahassee Road, and inclusive of expansion of the existing bridges, turning the existing configuration from 2 lanes, northbound and southbound, to 3 lanes on each side direction. So Mr. Hector Reyes and Leo Ofredi, the senior project engineer of record, if you want to step forward and do a presentation.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome. Is there a mic on? Yeah.
Hello. Good evening.
Yeah.
You want to introduce yourself and the project?
Yes. Good evening, Mayor, council members, members of the community. My name is Hector Reyes. I'm a community outreach specialist with Florida Turnpike. And
good evening. My name is Pacifico Castillo, and I'm the construction project manager for the job.
thank you. We're here this evening to provide for you an update of the Florida Extension.
Can you get it closer to the mic?
Yes, sir.
Please. Thank you.
Yes, sir. So we're here today to provide an update on the Florida Extension State Road 821 widening project from north of Tallahassee Road to, from north of Campbell Drive to north of Tallahassee Road in Homestead, Florida. So let's begin with an overview of the project and some key improvements underway. This project widens the Florida Turnpike Extension State Road 821 from Campbell Drive to Tallahassee Road to improve traffic flow and safety. The total project cost is approximately $99 million and is anticipated to continue through mid-2027. Major improvements include adding 1 northbound lane within the project limits to increase capacity, upgrading lighting and signalization for better visibility and operations, strengthening bridges throughout the project for added resiliency, as well as drainage, signage, and pavement enhancements to improve long-term roadway performance. These improvements directly support connectivity and safety for Homestead motorists and neighboring communities. This widening will reduce congestion and improve the overall traffic operations throughout the corridor. Enhanced lighting and upgraded signals will increase intersection visibility and roadway safety. Bridge strengthening ensures the corridor is built to last and can withstand heavy use and weather events. Overall, this corridor upgrade strengthens connectivity in Miami-Dade County. Next, we would like to outline how we're managing construction operations and traffic impacts. Daytime work typically occurs Monday through Sunday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. However, overnight operations take place Sunday through Thursday from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. to reduce traffic impacts during the daytime. Short-term lane closures and detours will occur periodically, coordinated with the city and emergency services. If you take a look, at the bottom of the right of your screen, the QR code on the screen links to the weekly traffic advisory. It provides up-to-date lane closure information. We encourage everyone to scan it and share it. Consistent communication remains an important part of how we manage this project, and so Moving into our outreach plan, it includes coordination with city departments, homeowners associations, as well as businesses along the corridor. We distribute construction alerts, fact sheets, and email updates. Feedback from residents and city staff is shared directly with the construction team to ensure inquiries are addressed quickly. The goal is to ensure clear and proactive communication throughout the construction. And to give a better sense of the work area, let's take a look at the project maps from the design phase of the project.
The next three slides show an overview of the improvements. On the left side of the page, there's a rectangle showing the typical section of the job with the additional lane. And in the pink color, those are existing sound walls. And on the light blue color, we have the proposed noise walls on the project. Next slide, please. The next slide shows additional noise walls that are going to be built on the job. It also shows a continuation of the additional lane. The bridge over the C-103 canal is going to get widened, as well as the bridge over Biscayne Drive is also going to be widened towards the inside. There is going to be improvements to the northbound exit ramp to Biscayne Drive, as well as the southbound off-ramp. Next slide, please. The next slide shows a major improvement on the northbound on-ramp to the turnpike from Tallahassee Road. That's a brand new ramp that we're proposing. It's going to be built as part of this job. Also, the noise walls that are going to be built as part of this job, widening of the bridge towards the inside over Tallahassee Road. And in addition to that, widening towards the inside on the bridge on Moody Drive. In order to perform the widening, we're going to have to have some lane reductions on Tallahassee, on Moody, as well as Biscayne Drive. We're going to have to reduce lanes in order to widen the bridge and work on the foundations for the bridge.
Thank you. Before we wrap up, we wanted to share our contact information for continued coordination. For project-related inquiries, please reach out using the contact information provided. Our outreach team is available to support resident questions, stakeholder communication, as well as media requests. We remain committed to transparency, accessibility, and partnership throughout construction. I would like to close with a brief note of appreciation. Thank you to the City of Homestead for your continued partnership. We appreciate the collaboration and feedback your staff provides as we move forward with construction. This project reflects our shared goal, and that is to keep Homestead connected, safe, and prepared for future growth. We placed 2 more QR codes on this screen as well. One link into the project webpage and the other link into our weekly lane closure and traffic advisory for South Florida and the Treasure Coast. It's updated with all the latest information. This is our presentation.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it. I'm sure it's in the QR code, but could you tell us when work is proposed to commence and the estimated end date?
Yes, sir. Work is already underway, and the anticipated completion date will be mid-2027.
Mid-27.
Yes, sir.
Working from north to south. Yes.
That is correct. The ongoing construction of the noise walls right now is going north to south. The bridge activities are going to be taking place at multiple locations.
Very good. Well, put your helmets on because I'm going to open up questions from my colleagues. So nothing personal. So who would like to fire the first shot? Councilwoman?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for being here. I'd like to know, when was the workshop held for community feedback on this expansion project? I recall having attended a workshop with regards to a proposed bypass with Florida City. and we were able to go and talk and express our concerns. And your group just got larger, so you're prepared to answer questions. That's great. So that's one question.
Circling the wagons.
Right. And I think that in general, as much as we appreciate the improvements, it's not enough. Going from 2 lanes to 3 lanes, we were thinking and hoping it'd be 4 lanes. And we know that other areas of Miami-Dade County are going from 6 lanes to 10 lanes, in combination of north and south. So, given that the future lives here in Homestead and expansion can only go south, really, why only do 3 lanes, and what can you do to change that? And yeah, let's just start there. Thank you.
All right, I'm it then. Hi, Yasir Mercado, Communications Manager for Florida's Turnpike Enterprise. Communications Manager, Florida's Turnpike Enterprise, Yasir Mercado. This team specifically does not have information on how we got to construction because they focus on just construction. So once it's designed, I do recall I was at the public meeting or the public hearing that was held at the Homestead Miami Speedway when we were talking about the other project. I don't remember exactly when. I know that it was during COVID because I remember that. So normally for all projects, it's, we look years ahead. So normally it's about 2045, normally, depending, each project is a little bit different. So we look at what traffic volumes are expected to be during that time, and then what's feasible for us to build. Because although everyone likes to think that we have an endless amount of money, we really don't. And it's shared amongst every single district throughout Florida because we have facilities in every single district. So it's kind of balancing our needs throughout the state, but also, and I lived in Homestead for 10 years before I inevitably had to move a little bit north because the commute was a little, rough. So I do know the needs, down here in the roadway, and I live literally down the street from Homestead. So I'm on the turnpike every single day, sitting through that beautiful traffic. And I have to say, it is a lot better than it was before. And then again, we're just always looking at what the traffic demand is going to be for years ahead. So that's how we decide,
So
widen.
the improvements from 2 to 3 lanes going north and then 2 to 3 going south, that is based on your projections for traffic
Yes.
through 2045. Did I hear that correctly?
It's normally 2045. I can get you the specifics and then provide it to you guys so that we can, have all
Please.
the information.
Yeah, if you could circulate that with staff, I would appreciate it. And forget the daily commute to work for our residents is brutal, but the need for efficient evacuation access, that's essential.
Absolutely.
And I don't see that this is, whoever the powers are at B that are planning through 2045, I think they're very short-sighted. I don't mean to be insulting in that way, but our residents need to see that when plans are coming and changes are coming and construction is happening, that it's not minimal, that it is meeting immediate demands. I can't imagine that this is supposed to be considered sufficient for traffic through 2045, 20 years from now. So if you can just clarify for me when the workshop was, did you say it was at the same time we met for the Florida City one? You mentioned the COVID workshop for Florida City. Is that at the same time?
Yeah, that was the one that you had mentioned, that it was for the widening project. I don't have the specific dates for this.
Yeah.
Normally what happens is in PD&E, we look at a big area. So we look at a corridor. So we don't do project by project, we do corridors. And then it's all discussed in that same meeting for all of the different, all that whole entire corridor. And then we split them up in projects depending on funding availability for all the different phases of funding, because PD&E funding, design funding, right-of-way acquisition funding if there is necessary, and then construction funding. So we would handle it as entire corridor.
So who's responsible for communicating with the local bodies of government to ensure that opportunities to speak and to be heard and to express concerns are made?
That is also at the Turnpike. We do have a very robust public involvement and public information program when it comes to PD&Es and designs and design projects. More when you go into construction, it's more of just providing information and kind of if there's a specific issue that a homeowner or resident has, or if we're going to be impacting a business, that we communicate that information to. But with the best time for people to come, the community itself, which we're always, trying to get as many people to come, because what people ask for is what they'll get. Like, if you really come, if there's people that come out and have their voices heard, that's exactly what we'll do. So
So you'll get that information for me?
I will get you the dates when we have the public meetings, yes, and public hearings.
Thank you. And so there's no way that our construction engineer can just add an extra lane? Can just squeeze it in there?
Unfortunately.
So when does the turnpike turn into 4 lanes? 'Cause I know we're going from 2 to 3 to match where it starts on Tallahassee.
I think that is,
216-ish.
216. So it's really not that much extra lane to add. Is it uncommon for a modification of engineering plans to happen at a stage where you've already broken ground? Is it unheard of? Like, is it really 100% too late to push for leadership to ask for the 4th lane?
I don't think we would be the ones to answer that, because that's all funding.
Well, it's not a no, so I'll
Yeah.
take that, and I'll challenge leadership to do that. Thank you very much for answering my
Well, thank you.
questions.
It really quick, it really closer to home, and look, I remember, and this was probably 4 years ago, there was a nighttime presentation in one of the meeting rooms, either over at the Hampton Inn or the other hotel next door to that, out where the Outback is, the 2 hotels there. And when I, in thinking back, one of our major problems that has manifested itself in the last 2 to 3 years is the entrance onto the turnpike at Campbell and 152nd. That would, big picture, long-term, absolutely, the 4th lane, but to really impact our everyday people at the beginning of their daily commute, that seems to be something that, and I know, you're just going to be the messengers today, and we're
Absolutely.
trying
Give
to
me all the
impart this
messages.
message that if there is some mechanism as an add-on, a change order, whatever it may be, that while this work is being done, let's go ahead and enhance that Campbell and Kingman entrance to the northbound turnpike. That would just be, talk about a game changer for quality of life as you start your commute. That, I think for me and for others, that's very important and closer to home. Sorry to step on you. Go ahead.
I just want to add, and that's one of the most dangerous crossroads we have. We had, like a month ago, 147 accidents in this year, in that corner right there. People just try to get in, and it's always happening, like every day.
Okay.
So again, if you could take that message back,
Absolutely.
I think, from our perspective, it's not a right-of-way issue. It's just it's easy for us to say. It's one of those no-brainer things that should have been part of the project.
Well, I actually, that ramp is near and dear to my heart, because I was a community outreach specialist on that project when we did construct the ramp. So, that's kind of where I live nearby, so it was my
Listen,
commute.
in 10 or 12 years, that has become obsolete. So, if it takes us another 20 years to get those extra lanes, how many years are our residents going to be dealing with obsolete overall widths at the time it opens?
Okay.
And again, it's only money, but our folks throw more money into the bins or, whatever. The transponders, their transponders get hit the hardest because they live the furthest away from, their commute is the longest.
Yeah.
Councilwoman, Vice Mayor? Councilman Roth?
Yep, thank you. So to piggyback on what the mayor was saying, our citizens are taxed more than anybody in the county when they have to come from Homestead, Florida City into Miami-Dade County. Not only does it cost them more in tolls, it costs them more in fuel, it costs them more in time, and I think that there has to be some relief for our citizens when it comes to the expansion. 4 lanes would be nice, but as you travel further south, why aren't we going all the way to Palm Drive? With the amount of population that's being built out west in Florida City, those people need to commute back and forth to Miami-Dade County as well. So there's no relief at Palm and at the entrance to the turnpike down there. And I'll also throw in our wish list. During that conversation we had with the overpass or the bypass in Florida City, Homestead was scheduled to get new southbound and northbound ramps off of North Canal Drive. And when they scrapped our program, or the program for the Florida City, they scrapped everything. So now we're back in a queue that I'm made aware of that may not be built until, as you said, 2045, which I think is incredibly unacceptable, especially when there's no land acquisitions required by the Turnpike Authority, because we have the land to give you.
It was designated in the approval.
Right. So I think I'm hearing my colleagues say, although the Turnpike doesn't actually come into the city, it helps our city. And I think we need to be a part of that conversation and planning in the future, that we have a say, our suggestions are heard at least, and there's an opportunity for us to get some good things out of the construction that we're going to have to deal with for the next 1.5 to 2 years as we commute north and south on the Turnpike, that benefits our community. So the fact that we spend more than anybody else to travel north, fuel, time, I think it's a fiduciary responsibility to look at those things as well in order to plan these expansions. I'm all for the expansion, but I don't think it goes far enough for the development that's coming. And if you look at the forecast of West Florida City, you'll understand that when you talk about evacuations, if we've got to evacuate Florida City, they've got Chrome Avenue, which is a 2-lane highway north and south. They've got US 1, which is a 2-lane highway north and south. And now you have the Turnpike, which eventually will be almost a 3-lane highway, except for down in Florida City. And if we didn't learn anything from Hurricane Andrew over 30 years ago, it took people 24 hours to leave Homestead in Florida City to
Even
get to the
Irma,
Florida, Georgia.
8 years ago, Irma.
To get out of the area or get out of the way of a hurricane. So I think those things are extremely important when you plan these types of projects. We had a great meeting today at the Homestead Miami Speedway. We have tremendous support from our county commissioners in District 8 and District 9. And I think, no offense to anybody that's standing here today, and we appreciate you guys being here, obviously, and it gives us an opportunity to tell you how we feel and what we think as well, and we shouldn't be ignored down here. We should be spoken to. We should be part of the planning. Although the construction doesn't really happen inside the city, it affects every person that lives in our city. With that, I'll rest. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman. Yes, Councilwoman.
Thank you. The light that is directing traffic north onto that entrance ramp on Campbell Drive, is that
County.
Turnpike? That's county? So any directional signs that say like left turn is left on, or left lane is left turn only, and then middle lane is straight and right turn, that would be county?
That's county, yes.
That, we need, at a minimum, we need that. Like right now, as it stands, there's just one sign off to the right, standalone, that is hidden by some, trees, which should be trimmed. But then there's nothing on the actual light itself, overarching the ramp. So please, let's get that. All right. Thank you.
Madam Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Obviously, echoing all of these sentiments, it's incredibly tough to have to listen to stories of 2-3 hour commutes. Life is too short for so much traffic. I would really appreciate pushing for that extra lane. I do not think that takes us into consideration going into 2045. I really don't see how that's even possible. Regarding evacuations, obviously we've been very lucky, but are there emergency protocols in place where most of the southbound lanes would be open to go northbound in case of emergencies? Do you, as FDOT, have those protocols in place? How would that work?
I don't have particulars on that. We don't do all directional. We do what shoulder?
We do shoulders, doing emergency shoulder openings whenever there's a storm or something. But usually, those directions are given by the governor, when those emergency shoulders can be used.
So in case of any big emergencies, then it would be under the governor's decision to potentially keep one lane open going southbound, but everything else would be open going northbound. Okay. Now, we appreciate you really looking into 312. I think that is an issue that can be fixed sooner than later. It is incredibly dangerous, so please use that as a priority, and to just look one more time. Obviously, let staff know when these discussions are happening so we can also push for our residents to come out to these meetings, because if you are familiar with the drive, then it is us that sit through it that can potentially come up with better ideas than those just looking at it through construction plans. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Manager, since you're trained in and speak their lingo, do you have anything to
Yeah,
to add?
actually, I very much thank this team. We reached out to you, you listened, and we invited you, you honored the invitation. Thank you so much. We've been in communication with Nicola Lecori. She's the executive director of Turnpike. It's very, very key and vital that the on-ramp on Campbell Drive and the Turnpike is reevaluated. We've asked for it to be considered as a change order to this existing contract, and that's what we're asking for. We don't wish to wait because of the public safety component. The chief is sitting right there. I asked him for the crash data. What he gave me was mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. It's not safe if the public were to find out what's going on at that intersection. So we'll continue to push. Please help us relay the message to Nicola. She's been wonderful in her communication with us. We very much would love to see a change order to this contract to incorporate that intersection. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Anything further from council? Thank you all. We appreciate you coming down and carrying the message back to where it
Took all
needs
my
to be
notes.
for us. Thank you.
Have all the notes. Okay, awesome, absolutely. And we will get back with you on
Thanks again.
some information.
With all of us, please. We need to represent those things.
No, absolutely. And then we'll get some information
manager,
for you all,
yeah.
yeah. And you can just let us know if you have any other questions. You know, we can come down whenever you need us to, you know.
Good.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
much.
Good evening. All right, very good. Thank you all for that very necessary conversation. All right, next item is tab 3, car number 4820. Mr. Pearl.
Tab number 3 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, petitioning the United States Postal Service to establish unique zip codes exclusively assigned to the City of Homestead, providing for implementation, providing for submission, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. I think we've all been briefed on this. I think I had discussions with staff months ago as we began our branding. I think for economic demographics and crime statistics and accurate reporting, either you're in Homestead or you're not. And I quite frankly don't care what they call the other zip codes. That if your driver's license says, ultimately, if you've got this postal code, that's a start. And now that, and in my thinking, if we can find a way to work with our local constitutional officer of the Division of Motor Vehicles to somehow more, and this will be a years-long transition, that will have the zip codes assigned and that folks outside the city limits will not have driver's licenses that say Homestead. No voting confusion, no crime confusion, a lot of clarity, and we live by accurate statistics rather than being lumped into Leisure City. Sometimes, I know that Councilman Fletcher's mail comes out of the Florida City Post Office. He shares down in the fairways a zip code with Florida City. It's all part of this identity and branding. There was a city, Mr. Manager, that recently accomplished this after a couple of years. Was it Miami Lakes?
The city of Miami Lakes is about
Miami Lakes,
completing
yes.
the process. It takes a while, but
Yeah.
it's necessary we start the process now
Right.
to see how far we can push it.
Good, thank you. Okay, so we need a motion. Moved by Councilman Ross, second by Councilwoman Avila. Are there any public comments on this item? Okay, hearing none, let's have a, oh no, all in favor? Any opposed? All right. And I believe, unless the manager tells me otherwise, that concludes the COW agenda, unless any of you have anything further. So we have a motion to adjourn the committee of the whole meeting? Moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye. And we will